Okay, test, and everything looks good. And let's just move that up a bit. There, yeah, because it's hot. So, right, today we are going to look into conversion. So we're going to go from a JSON file, and we're going to create well, hopefully move it over to a database. Now, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Part of me wants to do an SQLite and then go from there. The other part wants to go to Postgres. I may go SQLite because there's not many tables that's needed. So let's see. Right. Let me I'll tell you what we're going to do first is let's create a new branch because we have an app that's working. So we're going to create a new branch. So we do git checkout -b for a branch, and convert to DB. There we go. Switch to new branch, convert to DB. So if you didn't know about that, in Git, you can just it will create a branch and switch to it in one go. If you do that command, git checkout tag B, convert to DB, and we can confirm it here that that's where we are. So we know we're good on our main branch. Actually, git checkout right, so we're back on main. Git add dot git commit tag m. We are 290825 underscore everything working so far. Okay, and git push. I just wanted everything. Right, so we'll call it convert get to SQLite. Right. So with our agent, let me think. The data is stored in JSON file at the moment. Can I convert this to be SQLite? Right. let's change it to ask because I don't want it to actually do this. Without doing it, can you give me UML that works with plant UML to show what that database structure would look like? And as far as I can see, we need a hobby table that has ID and name, an item table that links to hobby via the hobby ID field. This table needs to be dynamic for when create custom fields. Would also need a table to store the values in drop down. I think it best if that table has ID and then item ID. So in the item table would be the values given for text, integers, etc. But if it is a combo box, then item would contain the ID that is in the table that stores the items values from the drop down. I think that works. Right, let's spin this up. Let's go hit. So, as an example, this is what I'm thinking. Right, get rid of that. So when we create a hobby, it's going to create this, and in a table that's going to have the ID and the name of the hobby. Then, like in slingshots, we've got a config. We're going to have like frame name, and that is going to be text. So add that, and then we're going to have, I don't know, manufacturer, and that is going to be a combo. So we close that. So we'd have a frame name, let's say Eddie. I do actually have a slingshot frame that looks like Eddie from Iron Maiden. Then what we need is manufacturer is down under catapults. Okay, so like this is good. So what we're going to do is jump over to here. So in the item table at the moment, we would have oh look, that didn't store the frame name. Okay, so we may have bugs instead. So hobbies, right? Okay, I'm just going to step away for a moment. Okay, right, sorry about that. So what I'm going to do I want to fix this? Right, first of all, what I'm going to do is just on my other screen. Right. Give me a second here. Let's go. Just organizing things. Because if that doesn't work and I'm going to use AI to look at this to fix stuff, I think I need to fix this. So might need to do a little bit of testing and fixing before we convert. So ba-dum. Up. Right, yes. So I think what I'm going to do is copy all of that because that's all helpful stuff. But right now, we have some fixes to do. Right, so let's see what else doesn't work. Checkbox. Let's call it checky because I don't like using the same names. Like if something is a checkbox, I don't want to call it checkbox because then you look at code, it's like, well, checkbox is written 25 times. Which one is that? So if I do checky, I know exactly what it is doing. And what was the other type? An integer. Do a usual quantity integer add. So we'll check that. And the quantity is that. So we're going to save that item. Oh, look at that. So it actually created a new one. Which it would because, right, so that's kind of a featurey weird thing because I should have clicked edit. I've done this. So frame name, checky, false. If I click edit, right, so we've got some buggy issues going on. Let's fix these. Right, so let's change it back to agentic. I don't know if that's a word. It's nice though, isn't it? Agentic. Um, Right, when I create a new item for a hobby, the value I enter for text boxes is not getting written to the JSON. Fix it now. Right, I've flipped it back to main. And right, so we're going to close this. I know I don't need to, as I say, it's like a habit. Like if it's changing files every now and again, I just like to stop that service and get it up and running again. Just because. So we're going to keep, and we're going to open up that browser again, and we've got our thing. So slingshots, config. Close. Right, so we're getting issues here. So for our hobbies, we just want to go ba-bum and save that. Our combo options, we just want to get rid of that. So we're going to save that. I'm going to close the browser just to make sure that we are clean. And remember, we've got this browser to open, just as the reminder. Boom, and properties. So remember, if you've got a shortcut to a browser, I'm using Brave just so it's separate. I will put this in the chat for now. If in the target, so just where it's installed, add this auto open DevTools for tabs. And that's going in the chat. That is how I get it to open with DevTools automatically. And there, I've just thrown that into the chat so you can grab that because that comes in handy. Right, so we're going to add our slingshots, add hobby. Let's come to our hobbies. So it's given it a GUID, items, fields. So we've got that. We're going to go into our slingshot. We're going to config. We're going to say my text 1, text, add, my combo 1, quantity 1, and checky. So we close that. So now we've got this. So we're going to call this, this was Eddie. Quantity is 1. whatever that checkbox is, and combo 1 is value 1 in combo. Oh, look at that. So when you do, so we'll figure like these little things I'll figure out later. But as you see, like selecting that combo box cleared everything else out. So this is going to be Eddie. This is going to be 1. I'm going to check that. I'm going to do save item. Right, excellent. So now we have Eddie. We have value 1 in combo. Blah blah blah. And over here we can see Eddie is in there. Value 1 in combo. Quantity 1. Checky is true. Let's just try editing that. That does nothing. So if I click edit, let's give it the URL just so it knows what I'm talking about. On an item, then nothing happens. Clicking this should allow me to edit the values. So either put up a pop-up with them so I can change, or get the values and put them the original boxes on that screen so I can change and save them. Oh, and what did I forget to do? Because I just fixed something and I didn't check it in. Bad, Paulie. When edit is clicked, populate the main form. I will update the code so that clicking edit will fill the form with the item's values and the save button will update. Right, as long as this works, I'm then going to jump over and there, let's add me in. I will jump over and start doing the database part. Because I had to fix that first little bit, because if it wasn't right in one of the things, if it uses the AI to go through and build a database, it could have done that very wrong because it's not working. Like, there's an old saying in accounting, and I think other things as well, shit in, shit out. Like, basically, they talk about it in accounting perspective from like the month-end reports, balance sheets, trial balances, all stuff like that. And basically say like, if all the underlying data is shit, then the end report's going to be shit. So shit in, shit out. Um, because the file is longer than expected has been edited. Because really, like, so once this is, as long as this doesn't break anything, because it's a CRUD style, so uh, as long as it does roughly what are the data stored, then reading, updating, and all stuff like that, it's all going to be very similar. Please refresh, try editing the item. So let's keep all of that. We are going to close this. I'm going to stop the server and then spin it up again just to make sure. I know you don't have to if it's editing. So the rule is like strictly, if it edits a JavaScript, you just have to clear cache in your browser and reload it. If it changes any like the Python or whatever other language it is you're using, then you have to stop and start. So I like doing it just to be sure and making sure that when I stop it and then I start it, that it does come back to here. Right, so it didn't read. Let's do this and save. Stop doing that. Oh, no, we need that curly bracket. Save. I'm just going to go stop that again. I'm going to close this. I just want to make sure that I'm starting with a very clean screen. So hobby name is let's just make sure it's something new. So knitting. Okay, combo options is clear. Hobbies, it's created knitting. So that's fine. We're now going to go into knitting and do a config, and we're going to say knit text, add knit num is an integer, knit list, say combo, and knit check is a checkbox. So we've got this. So knit text is nitty witty. Knit num is going to be 5. Add an option knit 1. Knit 2. And we're just going to select knit 2. Save item. Okay, so I mean it did it, but it's not displaying. It added an item, but it never rendered new item on the page, and it still shows no items yet. And if anyone is watching, if you have any thoughts, ideas, throw them in the chat. I don't mind trying different things out. Right, the backend for adding items looks correct and should update the JSON and return the new item. The front end calls render list after applying. So we're going to keep that. All it did was update JSON. So we're just going to do this and go knit in config close. It is not showing the right. Actually, let's do this. All delete, boom, boom, save. Combo options. Get rid of that. Save. Let's just restart. Hobbies. So knitting. Config is name, text, add. Okay, looking good. Combo, no, quantity is an integer. List is a combo. And yes, it's a checkbox. So we've got those. Name is just enter text. I'm going to do 5, add option, blah, blah, blah. Add option, da, da, da. Add option, da, 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 da. That's looking good. I'm going to check that. I'm going to save the item. So name, text. Right, let's so it's 290825 underscore. No, I don't need to do these date things at the beginning of the comment. It's just like a habit. Like I'm just so when I glance at it, I know what day I've done this. The reason I'm doing it with the time is because, of course, I'm doing a video. Like if I want to refer back to exactly what it was, I can come to these videos and go roughly there. Because I know I started at 11, so if it's at now 11:37, I know I'm just going to go 37 minutes into that video and I'm going to get to here. Nearly working, not showing items. And this is on my main branch. Only thing it is not doing is displaying new items when I click save. But your hobbies.json shows items. Oh, look at that. So it's so when I click save, it is not writing the values from the fields to the items array in hobbies.json. That seems to be the issue. Fix it. Right, see, so it's reading hobby and config.py. So if it edits a .py file, I do need to restart. Backend code for adding items is correct and should append the item to the correct hobbies items array and save it to. Which means the post is either not being called, not sending the right data, or the hobby ID is mismatched. Front end is not sending the correct. Oh, look at that. So we have so yes, add debugging. and check undefined error in there. Now here's a question. I'll put it to side, but just in case anyone's in the chat and just like watching this, when I have a post API call, should it return anything? That might sound silly, but if it's going to post data, so let's say it's going to post 4 values, should there be a response of something like okay, or like, or do I just leave that as the browser to hit me with a code 200 to say everything's okay? Do I need to code that happens? Right, let's have a debug log has been added to save button. Now when you click save, the console will show hobby editor. Please try adding an item. Okay, so we're going to stop this. We're going to go boom. Now spin up that service. The other reason I keep doing that of like just to make sure that it hasn't done a change that's broken it, because I don't want to be in a cached version and going, yeah, everything's okay, and then the next time I go to spin this up, like tomorrow or something, it doesn't work. Let's just save that. And combo, I just need to get rid of that. Save, let's just stop that and restart it. Make sure there's nothing cached. So hobbies, farting. Let's just do something new. Let's go to hobbies. So we've got that. And currently it's showing no items, no fields, which is correct. So let's add some fields. Fart name. Text. Smell score is an integer. Smell type is a combo. Oh, config, and does it smell? It's a checkbox. So fart name meaty. Smell score is 6. Smell type is eggy or meaty. And we're going to leave it as eggy. Does it smell? Yes. So here we have an undefined. console. Console has errors. Errors because when you click save for a new item, not edit in, the code tries to do a put to items undefined instead of post. This happens because Windows says updated items.js. Logic now strictly checks if edited. Do so. Let's take a look at that. We're going to close. We're going to reopen. Oh, look at that. So that's how you edit a field. You can just click on it in here. Does it smell? Oh, I like that. But it's not showing. So let's... so for this, we just want that. I don't know, every time it adds that closing bracket. Oh, I know. It's because when I clear a thing, I do the open square bracket and it's automatically putting the close. And then I'm hitting close as well. Let me see. Nope. Okay. I'll have to double check that next time. Combo options. And we're going to go C, and we're going to spin that up again. Let's do that again. We've got a hobby, we're going to config it. We're going to have texty1. Going to have inty1. Listy. Oh, I fat fingered that for sure, but. And the field name, Checky1. Right, texty1, inty1, check that, add option, add option, inty1, and checky1. So that looks good. Right, let's move on to this database thing. See if we can get it to convert. So first of all, we're going to check, and it is 290825 underscore 1149. Seems to be working. Time to create a DB. Open changes, open GitHub, checkout. Okay, so we can create a branch from here. Just want to make sure that we could. Right, let's try this. So if I go to convert to DB, Okay, let's just create a new one. So we're creating a branch and we call it move to DB, but not all in capitals because that looks ugly. Move to DB. Okay, and that automatically moved me over. Right, so I think we're ready. I'm just going to grab all of that blurb from what I put in earlier. So just in case late joiners. So I said the data is stored in JSON files at the moment. Can I convert this to SQLite? So I've decided on SQLite. I know the video said Postgres, but I think let's not jump too far. Without doing it, can you give me UML that works with plant UML to show what that database structure would look like? As far as I can see, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you can see it, you can read. And let's change it from agent to ask. I'm going to paste that in, and we're doing that. And the reason I asked for that is because this isn't quite right, but look, this is a plant UML. This is in Joplin. Just so I can paste it in here and we'll get a nice little visual. Right, certainly. Here's a plant UML compatible UML diagram for your proposed SQLite schema supporting dynamic fields and combo box options. Insert cursor, apply in editor, copy. I think it gave me the start and end UML. It did, right? And Joplin, being the nice thing it is, it displays, you can use like the mermaid, just like in Markdown, the code context things like the 3 backticks, and use plant UML, and you can chuck in some plant UML. So here we're saying hobby table has got a UUID as the primary key, and then name is text. Field has a UUID, hobby ID is the foreign key. That makes sense. A name and a type, that makes sense. Because the name is the name of the field, the type is text. I guess so, yeah. Because it's going to read the text as like combo and then do its thing. So an item has an ID, which is a UUID. It has a hobby ID, which is correct. So the combo options has a UUID again. Like we want a UUID for everything. It has a field ID, and that looks correct to me. And then the item value, so yeah, we'd want a unique item value, which I think I missed. Yeah, see on the items, it doesn't give it a unique ID. So yeah, we do need that. So the item value, Right, so the item value, it looks like it's going to create the table item value based on, I'm thinking this through. Right, so the only thing with this plant UML, it doesn't, you know, like how in SQL Server, in the diagram or in the access, like you actually have the line going to the field, like that makes it clearer. Because we've got, I'm looking at this item value, right, so, and it's throwing me. So the last four combo option ID goes to there. What are these two item IDs? Right, why are there two item ID that are foreign keys in the item value table? There should not be two item ID foreign keys. Okay, so let's change it from ask to agent. Can you fix that UML so it doesn't have the two screen? Let's just give it a little screenshot. Oh, it doesn't have two items. It has a field ID and an item ID. Sorry, that's me. Probably a bit tired. Right, so given that, okay, given the UML you created, can you set this up so that it uses SQLite instead of a JSON file for all storage? Do everything without any more prompts. Just go for it. I have created a new branch in Git, so it is safe to go ahead. Now comes the fun. So the other reason I'm going SQLite is because if I push this and like say, okay, well, on GitHub, and here's a fun little app thing, not everyone's going to want to go, oh, let's set up Postgres. And if it's SQLite, it will be easier to port this to an Android app. Now, here's a fun thing, right? You might hear me walking around. I'm going to go and get a drink, but it should still be good. So, I've heard recently Google are changing their processes. They're Applefying their developer stuff. So, what would happen before? It would be fairly easy to create an application for Android, and you could just like build it, do an APK, throw that into a phone or development environment, blah, 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 and you can play around with it all you want. Now what they're doing, or going to do as at a certain date, is change it to make it more like Apple, where you'll have to register and pay to be a developer. So, does this affect me? Not really. Because on my phone I use a different ROM. So this only really affects those people that want to, what's the term? Side load. That was it. It's the side loading that they're messing around with. So side loading in Android terms means basically taking an APK and installing it, or like if you're doing ROMs for a new ROM, they're screwing with that. But if you have a non-standard Android phone, you can still do whatever you want. And if anyone was interested, I use Lineage OS. Oh, right, let's have a look. Still doing it. Even though I told it to just go ahead and do its thing. Right. So it has probably almost certainly changed Python stuff. Right, so that's got to the virtual env. Let's check this in. So 290825. I keep going to do 26. I don't know why. It is 1206. AI has allegedly created the SQLite system. Okay, don't ask. pedantic UID. Where is the SQLite file? If I can't see it, SQLite file is created in your project root directory as hobbydb. Oh, I see it there. This is set to your SQL Alchemy engine configuration in app database. After initialization. How do I initialize the DB? Right, I'll tell you what, let's go with extensions. Okay, it's 3.7 million. To explore SQLite databases. Let's have a look at okay. Because in all honesty, I'd like SQLite. I don't think I've hardly ever used. app.initdb. Right, so there's init.db. From app database import engine base, create all tables base, da 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 da. Okay, and I ran that. Does it need to run the models.py as well? The models are imported and used by initdb py to create the tables. SQLite Open Database. Okay, so let's go to asks. So do I just start the app as usual and it will create Okay, let's go to our README. Okay, so it seems to have started up. Okay, we have an error in the console. Change it to agent. Something went wrong on the back end and the front end is failing to pass the error response as JSON. Please check your fast API server. Right, okay, so let's just clear. Copy that and paste. Right, and I did wonder this because it created that hobby DB. That's why I wondered, because like this init py and then the models are there, it didn't actually do anything. Right, so if I do that now, when I run this, I get an empty hobby.db file. Shouldn't this have content? DB browser SQLite and look for tables. Or run this command in PowerShell. Right, okay, so I wondered if VS Code would actually do that. I have dbeaver. I'm pretty sure dbeaver can open SQLite files. I may have, right, so I do have something else that may be able to. Let's just close dbeaver and install update. Yep, so it did give me a checkbox to say associate SQLite files. Okay, so it didn't automatically open that. Do you think open file is? Main. Yeah, see, there's nothing. Right, so that confirms that there's nothing. Hobby.db is 0 bytes, so definitely empty. Database URL in database py is set to hobbydb file in the app folder is the one being created and used by SQL Alchemy. Let me disconnect. All right, let's close dbeaver completely. It's been locked by Visual. Control Shift P, SQLite. Right, let's just close that. There. So we got rid of that. Right, so we got rid of everything. Okay, so we're going to run that. Virtual scripts Python dev app. Still 0 bytes. Is still 0 bytes. This path. Double check. Right, so it definitely doesn't. If we go into app, we are clear. That was me being an idiot. this empty and it's showing 0. Because an SQL-like database is just a file, so it should be showing something. Your init dbpy only imports engine and base, not the models. And I fucking said that earlier. Oh, look at that. That looks better. And over here, it's now 44K. I'm just opening up dbeaver. dbeaver does indeed have those tables. So let's see how this works out. We shall close that. Okay, so the service started. We have a 200. Hobby name, Slingshot. Okay. So far, so good. I'm going to bring dbeaver. I'm not pro with dbeaver. Did that right? Oh, okay. So that seems okay so far. It shouldn't. It's a shame there isn't like a little SQL-like thing over here. Right, actually, let's check this in. So we're 290825 underscore 1232 now uses SQLite, added one hobby. Okay, so let's try doing another hobby, knitting. Okay, so we can bring this up. Where's reload? No, record, refresh. Right, okay, so we've got two there. Let's try editing, knitting to crochet. Okay, copy. Testing now. When I edit a hobby name, I got an error. After all these hours, wouldn't it be a pain like if I change this to like Claude code and it just does it on the first go? Right, so let's keep. Let's close the browser, reopen it. Okay, well, so far so good. It remembered and it's read from the database. So we get done edit and we're going to change this to crochet. Okay, we've got slingshot knitting. Oh, that's good. I'm going to add my hobby of farting. And we're going to delete hobby of farting. Copy to console. Delete hobby does not work. Okay. So let's close and close that. Okay, so we're broken here. Does not start. Error. see it fix this. Okay, so it's automatically started it. So on start, it does load the database. It is reading these things. We're going to check the edit to pass. Let's have passion. Yeah. I was going to do passing wind, but as I hit the I, let's do passion. Okay, so that works. Let's refresh the DB. Let's delete passion. It's gone from the UI. It's gone from the database. So far, so good. So what I'm going to do is stop that service, and we're going to check everything in as 290825 underscore 1240. So far, can add, edit, delete hobbies. Right, so there's a little bit of me that wants to create a test system. Yeah, I think I want to create a test system. Or do I manually want to do it? I want to manually do it. So slingshots. Okay, so the button to open a hobby item page no longer works. Page cannot be found. So this would be in the routing. Static directory, get page cannot be found. It likely means static file items HTML is missing or misnamed. Static directory. Right. So in app static. Okay, the file does exist. Is it broken because of moving to SQLite? Oh, bugger me. It's not running. That's why the page isn't there. Right. So, there we go. Select star from hobby. I don't know if you can do this. Select star from. We don't have any items yet. We want field. I know. Putting SQL on one line. I know. Okay, so let's create 4 fields. Frame name is text. We're going to add that. Close. Right. How many tables we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. Combo option. Item underscore value. Okay, so now we have an ID, the hobby ID. 88-291. When I'm dealing with GUIDs, I just look at the first couple and the last couple of characters just as an eyeball fix. AA291. That is working. So if I do select star from, let's do this properly. Select star from hobby H, join field F on H dot ID is equal to F dot hobby ID. Okay. All tables. show hobby and fields. Right, so I'm going to go back into config. We're going to integer is going to be quantity. Close that. Okay, so that done it as a text. Did I go mad then? Did I? No, so it is showing as an integer. Oh, there. Okay, so far so good. Let's run that. So we've got looks good to me. Yeah, so this is the hobby ID name. Right, so there's only two fields. Then from here, this is the ID of the field. That links to the hobby ID. Right, so far so good. We're going to config. We're going to add. Let's do the banded. It's going to be a checkbox. Basically putting bands on a slingshot. I can have a little thing saying, is it banded or is the frame, does it need new bands on it? Add close. Let's come to here. Let's run. Okay, so here's the moment of truth, because it's the drop down that's going to cause the issues, I think. Fork width combo add. So we come here and we run this. So we've got 4 fields on the slingshot. So let's just do this so we can see. We want this combo option. Right, so let's add an option. Fork width 85, 90, let's try some text in there. Okay, so right, so it's stored it to the database, but for some reason the drop down is just says object object. So let's fix that when I create a combo and add items, they are written to the DB fine, but on the web UI, they all show up as object. Let's give it a little screenshot. This happens because your front-end JavaScript is setting the combo box option values to an object, not a string. Now that's interesting. Here's an interesting little thing. So with the AI, it's got to a point, and I did wonder this, in the last few, it's been kind of like, okay, you need to fix this. It's like, no, you're the AI. This is the whole point of this. You need to fix it. So Sam, make sure you're looping through the combo options and use their .value property. And it's saying show it the code and it'll fix it. See, this is where that testing would have come in handy, because I could have said assert that that drop down box shows whatever. It would have pulled up the error. This is where Playwright would have been amazing. The combo box rendering is now fixed. So frame name is Eddie. Quantity of 1 is banded. Okay, so everything looks good so far. Let's run some queries. Right, so hobby, we've got slingshot crochet. Fields, we should have 4, which we do. Combo options, we do have 3 values. Right, the combo options should link to fields. Oh, field ID fork width. Right, so there is an issue. Right, so we need on the combo option table, the field ID is showing the name instead of the ID of the this should be the field.id, as then if the hobby is renamed, it will continue to work. So again, these are one of my little things where I say do not trust AI. So it's done a great job. It has done a good job. Like it's been lots of back and forth and all that. But if you didn't know better, someone who didn't know databases would just leave that, and that would be terrible. So the issue that it's dealing with here, so we've got a hobby and we're looking at slingshots AA291. If I go to fields, it's got the hobby ID AA291. So that's linking, it's saying these fields belong to that hobby. So if I add fields to a different hobby, those won't show up here because it's based on that ID. Now, where the issue is on this, why it's an issue, is because it's giving the combo options, so the three values I put in 85, 90 and poll, it's doing those, giving them a unique GUID or UID, but it's looking for fork width. Now, if I rename fork width to something else, that is probably going to break because fork width will no longer exist. But the ID won't change. But if I changed fork width to width of fork, that's where it's going to break. So, and on these items, like, we need to tidy that up. So, but one thing at a time. I tell you what we're going to do. Let's keep that. Let's stop this service. Let's close that. And let's put that in. So this should be the field ID. So when it's up and running, the thing I'm really looking forward to is the playwright, setting up those tests. I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah. See, and you see how it mimics. we get into some of those things that I don't like about AI. This ensures the relationship remains correct even if the field name's changed. Yeah, I fucking told you that. Okay. All right. So far, so good. So frame name, blah 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 blah. Quantity 2, banded. Okay. So that is now no longer. Right. The combo box is no longer showing values from, was it combo options? Can I delete the hobby.db to start fresh? Before I do, let me just do it in here. Select star from hobby. So look for debuggers for SQLite, and it says, install Claude. Okay. Get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Don't save. Go to files. Opening integrated terminal. Right, so that does nothing. I am stopped up here, aren't I? Okay. What's all these PowerShell? No, just don't do anything. Just let me stop it. Busy resource, busy a lot. Right, let's close that. Let's close that. Oh, and I've got DB for open. So let's clear everything out. Let's open VS Code. Right, so I tell you what, let's start building some tests. If this loads and works. Bop. Um, okay. I wasn't expecting that. Right. So can I edit? Ooh, update item. Oh, let's. I just need to do that. Right. Is there a DB for extension? Oh, look at that. I wonder if how well that works. This would be so cool if this works. Connection name, hobby app. Dev. Oh, okay, this is maybe good. Okay, so check copy. I've got a little play button here. Let me just open up dbeaver again. Hopefully dbeaver stored. Oh look. Oh man, look at that. I wonder what that does. Plus tab. What if I do that? Oh, look at that. So I can run multiple. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that is really nice. So I don't need dbeaver. I'm going to chuck that to the side just in case. So new query. Let's call it clean.db. Gonna jump up to here. Change select star to delete. Terminal. Let's stop that. Right, so first things first, let's check in. 2029 25 underscore 13 18. Testing DB. Okay. I'm so hyped for this. Sorry, I'm just really excited about the dbeaver extension. Oh my god! Like, oh my god! I'm so pleased I searched for that. That is. I am so hyped for that. Okay, you got to give me a second here. Uh, so right, should we start doing a little setting up some testing? So we click on the flask. Let's move that. I'll tell you what, there's a way to detach this. Where is it? There is undock. There we go. Right. Save the clean DB. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay, so now we're back to here. So record new. HTTP 7.0.0.1 port 8000. Sure the three buttons appear. sure that says slingshot. We know edit and delete is going to be fine, so let's stop that. Right, let's clean up that folder. So get rid of that. We get rid of that. And get rid of that. And right, so we close that. I believe what we can do is just add another test. Fill it with knitting. Make sure it says knitting. I don't know if that works. So I've saved that. Let's give that a go. We shall close that. Because it's going to add those buttons. So I don't know how that test would work. Maybe I should do that all in one. Right, so let's go to our database. Right, so everything should be clear. Let's go to our test. Okay. Okay, so oh, reload this. Right, let's reload this. Go to our database, check. Okay, so we've got nothing in there. Okay. Right, I'm getting this hobby already exists. So what we're going to do is go to test, debug test. Right, so let's record a new one. Let's just go here. So we've got to clear out that DB. Reload here, and let's record new. So we want it to go to HTTP 7.0.0.1 port 8000. We want it to come here. We want it to say slingshot. We want it to add the hobby. And then we want to come here and do knitting, add hobby, assert the visibility of slingshot, assert the visibility of knitting, make sure that button says slingshot, make sure that button says knitting. Stop the test. Right, close that, reload. So we're just making sure that that is the case. We are going to delete everything from the database. That's one thing I don't like about it. I wish you could delete the tests. So dev hobby fast. Add slings and knit. Okay, so now if I hit play on this, so it has created 2. Go to test, turn on continuous to hide, start continuous, run using, execute using profile. Right, so we've got something that's working. Close. Oh, record at cursor. Hobby name. Slingshot. Add hobby. Oh, it's too quick. Let's just see what it does. So I paste these into here. I don't know if indenting really cares, but let's go boom like that. We're going to save this. We're going to go here. We're going to delete the hobbies. Reload the page here just to make sure. Now we're going to come here. I'm going to say run this query. Okay, that did throw an error. So I'm going to have to look up the how to do that because like what's memory? Yeah, I don't know how because that's like a JavaScript kind of compute layout. Event listeners. I'll figure that out at some point. But basically, just want to make sure that it doesn't add it twice. Right, so that testing works. So playwright tests. Add hobbies. Okay, maybe I'm not allowed to do that. No, don't start up Docker. Right, let's just close VS Code because that's going awry. Right, let's delete that. Dev test examples, get rid of that. Da, 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 da. Okay, so we've got a test to create hobbies. Where did I want to go with this? Yeah, I might have to call it soon because I think my brain is starting to go, yeah, you're tired. So, um, uh, why is that now? Oh, Okay, so let's have a look in this config. Okay, so let's go here. I wonder if it was the renaming that's broken it. Right, let's try closing code and reopening it. No tests have been found. Right, so I don't know what's going on here. So if I reload, so there's nothing in there. Let's close that. Right, so it did write to there. I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to come to my clean database and run that. Then I'm going to come to here and spin up that application. Okay, so we got this all back and it did quickly show up. So that's good. So let's record new. Go here. To edit. Oh, edit doesn't do anything. Delete it. Stop recording. Okay. Oh, it won't allow the pop-up. Crochet. And delete. Okay, so we're going to have to play around with that. Let's get rid of that. I wish like you could delete. Is it going to allow me to just go delete? No, see, I wish it would let me delete tests easier. So let's go to our database. Ooh, I could create a view. copy H. Join field F on H dot ID Okay, so why is that given up? Sync other. Oh, generate mock data. Drop, copy to truncate. Why don't you show any results? If I do that and say run, yep, see that should work. Right. So let's check this in. So 290825 underscore 1403 setting up tests. Right, so I want that test spec one gone. Get rid of that. Okay, going to close down VS Code just because I deleted files from all that testing. This is probably going to fail now. Yep, spin up that environment. There we go. So if we come to tests, let's run that. Okay, maybe not. Let me database query clean DB. Okay, there. So now we come to our test. Okay, so that test passed. Let's close that, just reload here just to make sure. Yep. Right. So now we're going to record another test going into Slingshot and adding four fields. So testing. Record new. And we're going to go to 127.0.0.1 port 8000. We're going to click on Slingshot. We're going to go to config, my text 1. Text box, add my num1 as integer, my list 1 as combo, and my check 1 as a checkbox, add, close, make sure that's there. Make sure the drop down is there. Okay, we are going to close this. We're just going to tidy that up. So it says my list, and we need to correct the test. Okay, so now we've got a secondary test. We're going to close that, and then we're going to jump back to our database. So we have 2 hobbies. We have 4 fields. We have no combo options, which is correct. We have no items, which is correct. And we have no item values. Okay. So if this test, oh, I wish there was something in here to like run SQL. I'll have to look that up. That's maybe what I'll do tomorrow. Look it up to see if it can run SQL statements on the database and make sure that things are okay. So we've added fields. See fields that are added. Right, so we're doing select star. From hobby H. Is that what this is? H.name, comma, f.name, comma, f.type. Okay, so we're looking good. We've got hobbies, we've got each one of these. Now, what we want to do is add some things to the drop down. Right, so let's go back to our tests. Let's record new. And we're going to go to 127.0.0.1, port 8000. Going to go into Slingshot. Go to config. Right, the add option isn't bringing up the box. Let's go here to 290825 underscore 1415. Items not loading. Item fields not loading. The fields are not loading when I go to forgot to put it in agent mode. Right, so open the browser console, look for errors in the network or console. Okay. just because I think I had so much showing up. So slingshot. $200s, nothing in the console. Go to an items page. There are no fields showing. However, if I try to edit one of the fields, then they all appear. Let's close, let's reopen. Okay, so that fixed it. So let's do another check-in. So it's 290825 underscore 1419. Now all fields are showing again. Thing one, add option, thing two. Okay, let's jump back to our database. So the field ID is 1AC. That seems to be correct. Okay, so let's go here. Let's go to this. Add values to drop down. No, it's not. Add values to add fields to hobby. Right, so we have a clean database. If I reload this, like we get nothing. Let's close. Let's stop that. Just to make sure nothing is cached or anything like that. We're going to open our browser and debugger. We're going to hit the network tab. We're going to come to our test. Okay, and we got to this. Right, why didn't that work? Element not found. I think we can take that out because we don't need to go to the page again. So it does button name slingshot, goes to config, field name, click field name, fill with my text 1, select option text, okay, so database, hobby is slingshot and knitting, fields, so it didn't add the fields. So let's come back to this test. It's only this one that we need to run. Okay, stop. Right, so I think it needs that. So we'll save that. I think that was broken. So text box, my num, spin button. Yeah. So if we go database, clean. Okay. So we're going to run this. We're going to get rid of that. There we go. So it was all in that test. So that does do everything now. That tests that those show up. And what I think I'm going to do, because let's do this. Right, so I am running playwright in VS Code. The app I am testing has a pop-up box. Let me so it's when we click that. So edit hobby name. Let's search. Edit hobby name. does not pop up in the testing browser. How can I fix that? Prompts are automatically dismissed unless you explicitly handle them. Here's how to fix it. You need to register a listener for the dialog event before the action that triggers the prompt. Right, I tell you what, let's get the agent to fix it. It's the one at line 50 in config.js. Doesn't pop up in the right, let's see what it says. Yes, fix that. Okay, but we got that, and I am wiped out. So I think I'll call it here. I will do another video tomorrow, so that is Saturday. I will schedule it, so if you're watching and you want to keep up to date with these things, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell thing. And yeah, I hate that when people say that, but then you'll get alerted. But I'm going to do another video roughly 10 o'clock tomorrow. That's 10 a.m. Mountain Time. I'll schedule that in a minute. But yeah, I am wiped out and I need a break. So have a good one, everyone. I shall see you on the next one.